Hello everyone, good morning. I'm so glad you joined me this morning. Shelley here, and I'm here today for the garden tour. And this is our 4th year with our tiny urban little homestead in our garden here and what we do. So I was thinking about that this morning, and I'm so excited about that because this garden literally saved my life, and I think I'll make that in another video. But I have a new appreciation for the garden this morning. And just tell you I'm so happy that you drop by and watch my videos. And if you're new to the channel, we're a tiny lot in a HOA, highly restricted neighborhood. We have a small lot, but we maximize a lot of space. Wow, they're busy. And we grow several gardens. One is a barter garden, and we grow that garden so that we can barter for. We have someone that does our honey, and we barter for that. We grow another garden to barter for eggs, and we have someone that processes their, chickens. And so we grow to barter for our other food that we don't grow here. So if you're gardening on a small space, I'd love to show you how to maximize every inch of space. We have this year, we have more tomatoes than ever because what we did was we started early to avoid the heat. So we actually had our tomatoes out in full swing outside, even though it was cold. We had our tomatoes out in February, March. Usually we come out April and May. It's way too hot in June or July or August. So we started earlier, and we've had a better tomato harvest. And if you've seen my videos, we are really big on growing and preserving our food and peppers. I canned about 40 quarts of peppers last year from the garden, and I think I'll probably have about that much this year. So I'm excited about that. And we have a lot of squash growing this year. So we're really going to be canning and putting up a lot of our food. We're going to make a lot of salsa this year. That's our plan. And so, yeah, I'm just excited about the garden this year. We do have to right now desperately get on the task of preparing for hurricane season. If you watch my video from Hurricane Ian and other hurricanes, you lose a lot in Florida when a major hurricane comes through. We this year have done a few things differently in preparing so that we don't hopefully lose everything. So I'm really excited about getting that done because it takes a load off. We actually are able to go 100% off-grid here, and totally off-grid right here in the middle of the city. So yeah, that's it. Why don't y'all come with me and let's go and take our garden tour. If you've watched my videos and layout of the garden, I usually bring you out through the little brick walkway with the 2 runners down the side. This morning I'm bringing you out from the side view. So I just added this new bed over here, and I'm going to get a couple more of these. Love this. And I have some great tomatoes popping up and peppers. And then I had this little bed I've had for a while, and I just got filled up with dirt. And then I like over here I have some container plants. And now this looks over the other side of the property. This is the pollinator garden I always show you. All the big taller than me. I'm 5'8". This salvia, this salvia is taller than me. When I stand next to it, it's over my head. So this is all grass. I'm really trying to grow nice and thick and green. That way, if I have that goal in mind, I won't make it all a garden. Then I have this little bed here. A lot of great tomatoes, flowers. Oh yeah, look at these tomatoes full. This is just full of tomatoes. So yeah, and this one is too. This one is full of tomatoes. Yeah. So I have this little bed. Because you guys know, I've told you, we are in a no-dig city ordinance. We live right on the utility line. We've got the power boxes, we've got cable boxes. In fact, I will show you. I walk right out here. Everything is on our property. There's the big cable box that runs the whole neighborhood right there, the big silver box. And right over there is the lake. And we have a power box, big power meter box right down there. I'll show it to you when we get down there. So the whole community's on no dig, but we are especially because our property's housing all these public utility things. So the two pathways you usually see are down there. Now I'm taking you this way with the two pathways. So again, we are from the corner of the house to the lot line of the neighbor. I will tell you we're about maybe 20 feet. That is it. And we have a very small space. We have utilized every inch of space we have. So sun is overhead coming down here. I get 7 hours a day uninterrupted until it hits that big 40-foot avocado tree. I get about an hour and a half interruption, and then it comes down over the side and comes back and it hits this way. So I have to keep everything pretty much in the sun. These are all red noodle beans with this little metal arch. And I have another pot on the other side, right there, of red noodle beans so that they'll match it. And because I have an empty space, I have a big tomato pot here. I got to come out and trim that. And then my peach tree. Yes, my peach tree is covered. There you are, little peach. Oh, there they are. They're all in there. Because the birds will nibble on the peaches, and you'll come out here and there'll be a bite on every peach. And so behind that peach tree, I put plugs in here because I want green grass. There's another tomato. I have to stake that up. And there's another tomato. Is my green stalk. Love my green stalk. Right now I still have winter kale coming out of it. I have dill coming out of it right there. You see the dill. Let me go around this side where this is the other end of the pollinator garden up to the blackberries. And right next to that is my lantana. Brings in a lot of pollinators. But I have sweet alyssum in here. I have some impatiens. I have sweet alyssum, parsley, kale. I'm hoping to get another green stalk. Yeah, waiting for them to go on sale. Hope I get one. Look at that baby coming out. Is she not sweet? I'm hoping to get the 5-tier right there. I'm hoping to get that 5-tier green stalk. So again, we're coming the back way that I usually bring you. I have 2 rows here, utilizing every inch of space because this is what we're working with in small spaces. So I'm going to show you some tricks. These are beds. I have 2 of those silver beds right down there. And then I have 2 of those wooden beds. And then that's one there. And over here, you're going to notice all buckets. They're up on bricks and wooden slats so that they're all clean. Nothing sitting in the dirt. See that wood? I've got 3 levels. There's 1 level. There's the 2nd level. And then there's a 3rd level back there. Wood. It's all clear under it except for leaves. Nice and easy to get. And all these wooden boards are 12 foot long by 10 wide by 2 thick. And oh, there's my sweet 100s. I might get sidetracked as we're going through the garden. Oh, look at that whole cluster. I better come out here and pick those. Maybe eat them for a little morning snack. Yeah. So, back to what I was doing. You'll see boards. Well, you'll see these pots all the way down. There's probably, and in the middle you'll see pots in the beds where I might have had peppers or tomatoes last year. So I rotated out. Have some things growing around the pots, but I have filled the beds with pots that I can rotate. So I probably have 100 pots and buckets. I'm filling these today. These I'm actually going to fill with dirt today and put nasturtiums in them. I love fabric potting. You'll see as we go down, I have tons of those fabric pots. So I'm going to put nasturtiums in these and kind of set them around the garden. And you're probably saying, Shelley, where are you going to put them? But I always find little spots where I have sun. So I'll do that. So on this side, I showed you, I've got these red noodle beans, 2 pots. There's 2 pots, 2 red pots with these mesh for arches. And I'll go over those with you. Then right next to that, coming down this row, which is very tight because my air conditioning unit is sitting right there, is a bed full of leftover kale, squash growing, a lot of squash, some tomatoes. I've got a tomato here, Everglades going. And then on the other side, I've got 3 of these silver beds and more of these square beds going right down, full of pots. I've got all these fabric pots. So this is one walkway. It goes all the way down the middle. This other walkway, if you start here, my green stalk is behind me. This is all my blackberry. I've got seeds planted out in that little area right there. Got it protected with a fence. Here is another big red pot of red noodle beans with this metal arch coming up over and down to another red pot of red noodle beans. And what these will do is they will start to climb and meet in the middle, and big red long, hopefully 12-inch noodle beans will come down. In the middle I have squash. This is that other walkway. And again, you normally see this coming in from the other side, which I'll give you that vantage point. Here we go. Let's go up this side and come down the other side. Okay, so over here we have a pepper, red Marconi, I think, or red bell. Here is a big tomato, very big. There's that power cable box right behind it. There's a pepper, and now there's a whole row of buckets on the third. That's the second row. The third row is behind that. We use the white food grade buckets and the cloth bags. Here is a tomato. Here's that little sweet 100 I just showed you. Very nice. Another tomato. On this side, I still have this beautiful big kale. We eat from it, just keeping it. Marigolds, because I have tomatoes in here. And peppers. And yes, we're sporting peppers. Little pepper buds everywhere. And there's our little friend, a little gecko friend. And then we have some tomatoes right here. To our left, back tomato here. These are Romas. There's the Romas coming out. And then in the back over here are some tomatoes. They're already in full bloom. I have my rosemary and I have my marigold and then here's another big rosemary. And this is for pest control. I keep pests off of my tomatoes. And then if you see the back row back there, the wood down below, that's our bucket. That's our third row in the back. That big tomato's on the third row. Oh, there's big tomatoes on that one too. Here's a pepper. There's a bag with a pepper. Back to the first row. Here's a big pepper. Here's another big sweet 100 tomatoes, full of tomatoes. I need to go ahead and prune this one. Then over to my right is another 4x4 bed. You can see I'm really using every inch of space I have. It's sitting up on a brick so it doesn't get soggy. And these other items are just growing in this bed. Back to our left. First row again, buckets. Peppers. Second row peppers. Third row tomato. Tomato here. Another Roma. These are coming, again, every pot has a marigold in it. And pepper on the front. There's probably 40 peppers along the front. Peppers, red bell, red Marconi. There's some of those Greek green peppers on that one. You see those big peppers? And there's Romas. There's another Roma tomato full of Romas. Back to the front. Here's a tomato. There's a tomato with a gigantic basil with it. There's some big tomatoes down there. Big basil. Back to the front, more tomatoes, more peppers. We're still on the front, second, and third rows, if you can see what I'm doing. It's the level of the wood, so it's nice and clean, second row. So again, this is the long look at what I'm showing you. I'm walking this pathway showing you all these containers, first, second, and third row. So we got up to here, but if I split to my right, again, we're small space, another 4x4 bed, and all these have, we have pepper, we have a tomato, we have another pepper back there, we have this big arch again, just to secure tomatoes too. I'm going from side to side. Another pepper, another tomato, a big tomato over there, but I'm going to walk that side because the AC unit's there. And here's more, another pepper and another tomato. And these are in this square bed. Back to this side, another Roma. I'm canning. If you're asking why so many Romas, I'm canning this year. I canned last year, but I'm canning more this year. Another Roma, big tomato. These tomatoes are huge, by the way. So I'm 5'8", and this one tomato is taller than I am. Let's get in there. I believe these are just cherries. Yeah, I believe they're just cherry tomatoes. It's a bigger pot, 2 marigolds. These tomatoes are flowering. Back to the right, there's that little bed full of these tomatoes, peppers. To my left here, you can see here's the first row, the second row, and the third row back. Here's another tomato right here in this black bucket. Here's another tomato in this white bucket. And that stops that row. Let me turn you. There's the row I just came down, all the way down with all those buckets. That's the row. So we get here, and then on my right side, I brought you with these 3 square beds full of buckets. So now I come right here, and left and right, the buckets stop, and we have beds. So I have these metal beds. They're a foot high by 2 feet wide, and they're oval. This is a beautiful giant zinnia just getting ready to bloom. Beautiful zinnia. So these 2 beds are filled with Florida Everglades tomatoes. Everyone is asking me, and here is one of my other gigantic basils just getting ready to flower. Let's get that flower off of there. Okay, so these are Everglades tomatoes. They're real tiny, if you can see them back there. A kale, Everglades. Some sage, kale, marigold, basil, and this gigantic, beautiful zinnia coming up. So these are 2 beds side by side, filled with marigolds and Everglades tomatoes. Then to my right is another silver bed. This one is 4x4, and these are all string beans that are arched up here. There's one squash. Hey, bunny. Good morning. That bunny just ran by. You know what? I've never had anything in my garden touched by bunnies. There's another squash right there. Here's some peppers in the middle. There's a nice borage coming up. This is squash. This is squash. This is squash. You see that one over there is squash. All this is big squash. We do have another one of these big wires so we can get that squash off the ground. So this whole bed is string beans and squash. And then this bed up here next to it, same size, is all peppers. Just tons. There's my nasturtiums. There's some zinnias, nasturtiums. This is all peppers. Again, we have all these arches. We're getting some weather. So we are the exception. We do not let it rain on our garden. This entire 90-foot roll will have a greenhouse cover on it. You see all these covers or these frames, and you see all the metal. This entire thing will have a greenhouse cover all the way down, probably 70 feet, and this whole side all the way down. If you see these poles, will have a TP cover dropped right over everything. This entire garden will be nothing but greenhouse cover this afternoon because we're getting rain coming, a heavy rain. Over here on this side, I told you I'd bring you down. This is the other walkway. This is a 4x8 bed. Again, peppers, squash, Everglades tomatoes, peppers. And then to the right side, more fabric pots with peppers growing. You can see the peppers in here. And this is a big tomato, huge tomato. I think this is a Sweet 100. Down here. And then back to this bed I showed you that's full of squash. My Mr. Stripey, my squash. And this goes back to where I first started. We came out through here, turn you around, and there we go. So I went up that way and brought you down this way, if you can see how we did that. So I'm gonna get my dirt. We just packed everything away in my garden shed, but I'm gonna go get it out. I have, one of those bags, I'm gonna do sweet potato vines. I've got these ready to go in a jar of water. They've been sitting here growing on these sweet potatoes. I'll clip these and get them in the water. Then I have this little herb garden bed full of pots. I've got seeds and everything, lots of aloe, live by aloe. Oh my goodness, look at my yellow pear tomato. Isn't that the sweetest little thing? There's one, there's a tomato, a pepper. Here's another cherry tomato. Yeah, all my plumeras. I have 5 big plumeras. They're all growing. I'll show you the one out front. I think it's going to be a red one. So we're going to get this in the ground with a shovel. Another big basil and tomato. These are hot habanero peppers. They're getting big. And I have tons of rosemary for control. And then this is another wood board. And another wooden board. And all kinds of herb pots. And if you notice, this is where I always bring you into my garden in my videos. And we always go down these 2 rows. This is my little workbench. I have my soil under here with some pots. And I have all my seed starting things, seed starting pots over here. And you always see me walking the pathway around the herb garden. On the bricks. Out to that long look at the garden. Back down. And there's the peach tree. And I have a lot of property up here. I do live on a small lot line in a small community, but I do have some odd pieces of property. So here's a little bed. I have a sunflower, lots of peppers, and I have some more pepper starts right there and a bag of dirt sitting right there waiting to go. I'm going to put some more sunflowers in here today behind these peppers. But I had to have the peppers planted somewhere, so we have them all in here. And pollinators. Pepper plants. Okay, here it is, here it is. These are my plumeras. Aren't they beautiful? This one is just really coming back. My hollyhock. I love hollyhocks. They're so precious. Here's another big plumera. This one's really tall. Come all the way up, really big plumera. And I'm gonna put flowers in these boxes. So yeah, this is the front of my property coming around. You can see my shadow. And I have these pots along the front. I have some hollyhocks in here. I have these pots and my beautiful prized possession. My beautiful prize is this crepe myrtle. Big, big crepe myrtle. All these pots, seeds and stuff in here, of course, aloe. Keeping the yard green is a challenge. Let me let you look at that part of the yard from this vantage point. So I spin you around. This is the front. Putting some things there. And then go back to the garden. We only have, there's my screen patio. There's my neighbor's lawn. I have this little, I think we counted 40 inches of land. This is his property line. Right here. This is my patio. So around the whole side of the house, we only have 40 inches to walk until we actually hit. So, yep, stay tuned. I'll be doing some little chores throughout the day. I'll take you with me and we can do these storm prep things together.